Hey, it's Veteran Game here, and today we're warping straight into the latest anime game adaptation that's got fans hyped, skeptical, or maybe just plain confused Eden Zero. Like, on paper, it's got everything you'd expect. A spacefaring adventure from the creator of Fairy Tail, tons of wild characters, magical powers, giant robots, and a premise that basically screams shonen anime in space. You play as Shiki, a ridiculously optimistic gravity-defying goofball with a heart of gold and fists of steel. Setting off with Rebecca, obligatory influencer sidekick, plus a motley crew of robots, warriors, cat mascots, and more. Honestly, it should be the ultimate anime fantasy. But is it? Before we fire up our ether gear, do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe if you love honest takes, and let me know in the comments if you think anime games ever really get it right. Let's jump in. So here's the big sell. Eden Zero lets you relive the key moments of Mashima's manga and anime, jumping from planet to planet on a quest for the legendary Mother, a goddess floating out in the farthest reaches of the universe. And if you're hoping for a deep, emotional journey with killer writing and plot twists, you might want to keep those expectations in check. Let's talk story. Eden Zero tries to squeeze as much of the manga's arcs as possible into a single game, and the result is, well, imagine binge-watching an entire anime season in fast forward. The pace is absolutely wild. Whole storylines are rushed through in 20 minutes, with character development that feels like it's sprinting a marathon and losing its shoes along the way. Sure, you get all the familiar faces: Shiki, Rebecca, Happy the talking blue cat, Wise the time-displaced tech head, Elsie the not at all subtle fairy tale callback, and a rotating roster of allies. They even nailed the character models so fans can pick out every little costume, fanservice shot, and did Mashima really draw that moment? But here's the thing. The game never gives any of these characters or their relationships room to breathe. It's all surface level, friends become besties in minutes, motivations get explained and forgotten just as fast, and all the heavy emotional stuff. It's basically, hey, we gotta go to the next planet, see ya. Even the main duo, Shiki and Rebecca, who do have genuine chemistry, don't get enough time to build up anything meaningful. And let's not even talk about the side characters, who are basically there to fill up the party slots, unlock a new combo, and occasionally show off a swimsuit or two. And if you're thinking, hey, maybe the gameplay saves it, yeah, about that. Eden Zero tries hard to channel that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot vibe, mixing lightweight open-world exploration with linear story missions. Each planet is just a fancy, fenced-in map where you run from marker to marker, smash up a bunch of identical enemies, and then square off against a boss with more health than personality. Over and over and over, the combat is fine, serviceable if I'm being generous. You've got your basic light and heavy attacks, a couple special moves that charge up as you go, and the ability to swap between 4 party members at any time. And yes, it's kind of fun to chain together a switch combo or bust out a flashy super move, the first time, maybe the second. But here's the problem. After a couple hours, you realize you're fighting the exact same enemy waves on the exact same looking maps with the exact same combos. The only thing that really changes is which reskinned monster you're punching, or which boss acts as the latest HP sponge. The AI, about as sharp as a rubber chicken. Even the bosses just cycle through telegraphed attacks until you chip away their life bar. I can't help but feel like the whole combat system is a massive missed opportunity. There's this cool idea where each party member has a different style. Shiki's all about in-your-face melee, while others focus on ranged attacks or support skills. But the balance is way off. Once you unlock some of the ranged characters, you can just stand back and spam them to cheese most encounters. There's no real incentive to experiment or swap up your approach, because the game doesn't push you to. Honestly, I found myself sleepwalking through battles just waiting for the next cutscene, and that's never a good sign. Between missions, you get dumped back on your spaceship hub, where you can play some half-baked mini-games, cook meals, or mess around with equipment. And look, I get the idea, give players a breather, let them customize their team, maybe inject some light sim elements. But none of these side activities feel meaningful or even remotely necessary. Cooking just bumps your stats for a while. the mini-games, more like micro-distractions. At best, these features pad the runtime. At worst, they make you wonder why they exist at all. Speaking of padding, Eden Zero tries to spice things up with a free exploration mode in the open world Blue Garden, where you can wander around, collect items, do side quests, and mostly just realize how little there is to actually discover. The side quests are pure fetch quest fodder, the collectibles feel pointless, and the world is as lifeless as it is generic. It's a classic case of open world bloat, lots of space, not a lot to do. And let's talk presentation, because this game just screams budget. The environments look like they were imported from a last-gen anime game and never got the HD pass. Bland textures, flat lighting, recycled backgrounds, and a general lack of detail make it clear that most of the effort went into the character models. And even those only really shine in the fanservice cutscenes. There are flashes of the manga's charm, sure, but the world itself never feels alive. Combine that with the soundtrack that's just kind of there, and the overall vibe is more cheap mobile spin-off than epic console adventure. Now I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm a hardcore Eden Zero or Fairy Tail fan? Is there anything for me? Honestly? If you just want to see your favorite characters animated and don't mind a paper-thin story or repetitive gameplay, you'll probably find a few hours of fun here. There are lots of unlockable costumes, plenty of anime nods, and a few flashy moments that'll hit the nostalgia button. But for everyone else, especially if you're craving a great action RPG or a story that really justice to the source material, it's hard to recommend. Eden Zero isn't a total disaster. There are moments of charm, and it's possible to lose yourself in a power fantasy haze for a while if you really want to. The problem is that it just doesn't do anything better than the hundreds of other anime games out there. The story rushes past any chance for real drama, the combat is shallow and quickly grows stale, and even the RPG elements are bare bones at best. The game feels like it's checking boxes instead of actually trying to stand out. It's not all doom and gloom though. If you're looking for a turn your brain off, Saturday morning anime experience, you might have fun bashing through some repetitive brawls with your favorite characters. And hey, the fanservice is unapologetically front and center, so if that's your thing, the game absolutely delivers. But for anyone hoping Eden Zero would raise the bar for anime adaptations, or even just give us a solid, memorable action RPG, sorry, this isn't it. The galaxy is big, but somehow Eden Zero still manages to feel small, forgettable, and safe. It's a shame, because the ingredients are all there for something much more epic, but the execution just isn't. So final verdict, Eden Zero is for diehard fans only. If you want depth, variety, or an RPG that respects your time, steer your ship elsewhere. But if all you need is a few hours with some familiar faces, and don't mind mashing the same button 1,000 times, maybe give it a spin when it's on sale. Let me know in the comments, are you tired of mediocre anime adaptations? Or do you still hold out hope for the next big one? And what's your port pocket for the best anime game adaptation ever? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time on Veteran Game, where we dig deeper, get real, and maybe, just maybe, help you dodge your next gaming disappointment. Catch you in the next one.